How's it going, guys? Alright, I'm finally ready to give you guys my spoiler review for Halloween Kills. Now, I just wanted to address this up front. This is clearly a very divisive movie. Some hate it, like myself. Others love it, and others are split. But there is a lot of fighting on social media about this movie. And I admit, I had to block 8 people because they were attacking me for hating this film. Guys, try and respect others' opinions, even if you don't agree with it. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, so try and keep this civil. Alright. I will do my best to stay on point because honestly, this movie's plot is such a mess, and I honestly don't even want to remember this movie at this point, but I'll do my best to try and remember everything. This movie started with Cameron finding Hawkins and saving his life. Now, I get what they're trying to do here. They're trying to give Cameron a redemption arc, which is never a bad thing, but I have to call BS. Hawkins was stabbed multiple times in the neck by Sartain and then run over by him, and even if you can make the argument that he was found immediately after Sartain took off, he gets to the hospital after Laurie does, which means he would have been bleeding out for at least 30 minutes. So they screwed this up. Anyway, moving on from that, we get to the flashback. Now, okay, I'll say the positive things up front. The flashback does look great. They really tried to match 1978, and they're really damn close. And the Myers house looks fantastic. They really did a great job there. I don't want to say negative about that because they really put in the effort. Like the crew, everybody that built the sets, they did a fantastic job. However, this is where the writing really starts to become a problem right away because tonally, this is all wrong. First, you start with Lonnie, who's getting bullied, even though he was actually the bully in the original. I guess they're trying to get us to feel bad for him or something, but we also know that Michael only killed a total of 5 people, so between 1963 and 1978, so we know that Lonnie's not a victim. So, when Lonnie does encounter Michael, while it is at least a little bit suspenseful, and the person playing Michael here, who I cannot remember his name, he does a great job. Everything looks great, he moves great, the mask looks great. That was great. But, you just really, you know he's not in any real danger because you know he doesn't die. So, it kind of feels pointless. It's just fan service, basically, as much as it's cool. Young Hawkins encounters Michael and he can't shoot worth shit. He missed him twice, which becomes a repeating theme in this film, just like in Halloween 2018. Michael disappears, and then these cops are gathering together to figure out how to corner off Michael. Their lines are goofy. They just don't sound serious enough. They try, but it just doesn't quite work. We get to the Myers house, and when the music kicked in here, it felt a little forced. It was just like, there's the Myers house, cue music. When they go inside, Hawkins and his partner are searching. Now, they try to build suspense, and they even show the dog Michael ate, which is a nice touch. But the way they're moving around, it just looks goofy. Some of the things they're saying looks goofy, and then they split up. His partner, I think it's Mark, I can't remember, he goes upstairs. He goes into Judith's room where Michael clearly was just standing, and he just looks out the window. Nothing ever happens in this town. He lets his guard completely down and Michael suddenly ambushes him. Okay, yeah. And then, while Michael's choking him, Hawkins hears a commotion. He comes upstairs. He points his gun at Michael. He's telling him to stop. He's not. Now, Hawkins clearly has no shot. Michael's too close to his partner. He shoots his partner in the neck, killing him. And then Michael walks away. Hawkins tries to shoot him twice on the stairs. He misses, just like in 2018. And then Dr. Loomis suddenly shows up. It's here! The evil is here! And then he comes inside. What happened in here, Officer Hawkins? Did Michael kill again? Okay, Christopher Nelson did a great job with the prosthetics of the person playing Dr. Loomis. Not perfect, but this is not CGI. This is makeup effects, and this actually did look good. The voice, not very good. And the lines are very cheesy. It just didn't work. tonally, this flashback is just not good. And then the end of the flashback is Hawkins is looking at his dead partner, and then we cut outside. We see Michael standing in front of the Myers house with the cops surrounding him, and we saw this in the trailer. It's a good throwback moment. I see what they're trying to do, but in a lot of ways, this flashback just feels unnecessary. It just doesn't have the right tone to it as much as they tried. They just don't seem to quite understand what tonally this flashback really needed to be. This needed to be very suspenseful and very serious. Like, earlier, a cop tells the kids that there's a murderer on the loose, and then he just drives off. He's like, "Get home, kids, good luck." No, that cop would shove every one of those kids in the frickin' back seat and drive them home. That was just, again, bad writing. We cut back to present day. Alright, we go to this bar. We're reintroduced to two characters from the last movie that had a close call with Michael. One's, she's a doctor playing a nurse, and her husband's a nurse playing a doctor. It's, I guess, a little funny joke. They go into this bar for a talent show, and at another table, we're reintroduced to Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace, Lonnie, and Marion Chambers, and there is a lot of exposition here. They're clearly treating the audience like they're fools. Like, they're treating us like there's no brain. They're talking about what happened in 78. Tommy goes up on the stage and tells the story of Michael Myers, and we see flashbacks. And yes, you could say it's fan service, but at the same time, it just feels like, you remember that, guys? You remember that, guys? And then they use a scene from Halloween 2. I know why they did it, but yeah, you guys say you wanted to erase all the sequels because you wanted to do better films, but you seem to be recycling ideas from all of these films. And not just a little bit of fan service like the Halloween 3 masks. That's fine. But they just seem to be like, hey, remember that? Remember that? Remember that? Anyway, the dialogue here is cringy at best. The characters are not very good. We really don't learn anything about these legacy characters. It's like, hey, are Tommy and Lizzie even together? What's Marion Chambers doing? What does even Lonnie do for a living? We don't really know anything. The only reason we even know Lonnie has a son is because we met him in the first film. Anyway, they find out on the news... Oh no, sorry. I'm jumping ahead. They do a toast to Laurie. They're like, wherever Laurie is. Which means, what, have they never seen her in the last 40 years? We don't know. We see the three Strodes in the back of that truck, and then we see the fire trucks going by. Laurie is like, let it burn! Let it burn! I like that, but I have to call BS to something. In 2018, the two cops that were murdered by Michael, they called in a dead body before they were killed. Cops should have been on the way. They should have been there long before the firefighters. So, yeah, this is total bullshit. I mean, could I buy only one cruiser showing up before the firefighters? Maybe. But at the same time, those firefighters should have noticed the car with the dead bodies. And maybe they should have been like, maybe we shouldn't go in this house right away. It was just, again, very obvious plot convenience, though. There was ways around these things, but they just chose to ignore it instead of actually try to come up with some good writing to address it. Anyway, the firefighters breach through the door. They're going in searching. Good shots. Then one firefighter falls through the floor, and Michael comes out from the gun cabinet, which I guess I can kind of buy that he could survive. Though I would think that would not really shield him from the heat, and I would think he'd probably suffocate long before, but who knows. Anyway, Michael kills the firefighter and then kills another one that tries to save him. And then he probably kills the others inside the house, and then he comes outside. It's an awesome shot of him exiting the house. But the firemen, like, these guys clearly know they're in shit. They all get ready for battle, but they only go at Michael one at a time. Like, okay, one firefighter, he blasted Michael with a fire hose. Now, I thought this looked goofy, but then I never thought of it. Fire hoses have a lot of pressure. Normally, this would knock you on your ass, or at the very least, it would have caused Michael to drop his weapon, and it didn't work, but instead of that firefighter trying to jump back, he gets killed. And then the others go at Michael one at a time. It is so goofy. And not even a single one of them thought, maybe I should get in the fire truck and try and run Michael over. I mean, there's a way around that too. Just say he misses and he crashes into the house. At least then I can say they tried. Anyway, Michael's victorious, and away we go. And then it cuts back to Laurie at the hospital. She's rushed into surgery, and surgery looked great. Not gruesome. They didn't overdo it like they did with Rob Zombie's H2. And there is actually some good moments with Allison and Karen. You know, they're looking at their bloody hands, and there's some breakdown. They're finally grieving for Ray, which was nice to see, because they never acknowledged that at the end of the last movie, though Ray did suck. Judy Greer is definitely better in this movie, I can say that much. And Annie Matichak is definitely doing a great performance, too. There's some nice little moments here, and Lee Brackett sees Laurie come in, and he's like, Laurie. They never get a scene together in this movie. Complete waste of potential. Alright. The officers are back at the Laurie's compound. They find all the firefighters slaughtered, and their dialogue is cringy. Sheriff Barker is pretty useless. They're going to call in reinforcements from another county, but could be a while. Anyway, after that happens, we cut to this old couple that are playing with a drone. Yeah. They hear something, and Michael's inside a washroom, and apparently there was a cutscene here where Nick Castle had his cameo, where he was bandaging up his hand, which they cut out. I think it's going to be on the Blu-ray, though, which still sucks, though. I would have liked to have seen it, but I guess we'll see it in a couple months. Then Michael starts killing them, and he kills the husband first, and then her. The wife, he stabs her with this fluorescent light, but she dies slow. And Michael decides to use the husband as testing ground. He takes different knives and stabs them into him, and honestly, I think this was a throwback to Rob Zombie's H2, when he stabbed that nurse like 20 freaking times. Oh, that was so stupid. Anyway, could I buy Michael being curious, like, ooh, let's see what this knife does. Shh. Let's see what this knife does. Shh. Let's see what this knife does. Shh. I could buy that. But, I don't know. It's one of those things. Anyway, after that, alright, we go back to the bar. An emergency alert kicks in on the phones. They find out that there's 2 escaped mental patients, and they clearly show on the news both Michael and this other person's faces, but obviously Michael's has been obscured, so we don't see it. Anyway, this doctor who's playing the nurse, she goes to her car. Somebody's in the back seat, and she's like, it's Michael Myers! Tommy and the others are gathering, and it's like, evil dies tonight, and you're going to hear that a lot in this movie. They try and get this guy, he drives off, he smashes the car, and he leaves, and it's clearly not Michael. It was actually the guy that had the umbrella in the last movie. Anyway, so that's starting, a mob's starting to gather to look for this guy. They want to kill Michael, even though this is obviously not him. Alright, back at the hospital, Karen and Allison find out Michael's alive, and they're not happy. And Allison is pissed. Officer Hawkins has finally shown up there. Also, another thing. Okay, this morgue, you can clearly see the dead bodies from the windows. They're not even covered up. Yeah. And that doesn't happen. That was total whatever. Clearly, they just wanted to see a shot of Allison looking at the bodies and somebody else later. Anyway, Tommy shows up at the hospital along with Lonnie. Like, they go to the hospital and they're forming a mob. They want to go hunt Michael, and Allison wants to join them. Karen says, no, go sit with your frickin' grandmother. We're going to wait for Michael here. Because they think Michael's still after her. Obviously, Officer Hawkins is still unconscious, so he can't tell them that no, it was frickin' Sartine that drove Michael to Laurie. Which is still a stupid plot. Anyway, while that's going on, she leaves a note and she takes off with the others. She leaves with Cameron and Lonnie, and they go hunting for Michael. And Lindsay, Marion, and the couple from earlier that never even heard of Michael Myers, they decide to join them. They're in another SUV looking for Michael. Now, okay, right after this cuts away, everybody's driving off. We go to the Myers house. Now, there's these 2 characters living there called Little John and Big John. They're so stupid. They're so terribly written. Like, if this was a comedy, these 2 might work. But here it doesn't. These kids pull a prank, which you'll be seeing them again later. They pull a prank where one of them supposedly swallowed a razor blade from chocolate. Now, this is a throwback to Halloween 2. but it's very goofy, and again, this really disrupts the pacing of this movie, because up to now it was pretty serious, and even with the goofy stuff. But now it's like, what? It grinds it to a halt, and then you cut away from them, you go to the park. Lindsay and them stop because they see two kids playing on the swings. Lindsay goes to warn them, like, what are you doing here? And then they tell her that they've been seeing this guy in a white mask. Michael appears, you've seen all this in the trailers. He gets on top of the car. Marion wastes her bullets. She clearly has no shots. Like, she should have been shooting at the roof, but... Anyway, the doctor who's playing the nurse, she disappears for like 2 minutes. Lindsay sees what's happening. She's putting bricks in one of the kids' pillowcases to come back and attack Michael with it, but she's going to be a little bit. Michael drops down. He's trying to attack the guy in the car. Marion kicks open the door, eliminating her only protection between her and Michael. She's like, hey, Michael, this is for Dr. Loomis, and her gun's empty. And she's just like, she gives an oh shit look. And she doesn't even try and open her door to try and fall out to try and save herself. She's just like, I guess that's it. And Michael kills her. And then, while he's doing that, the other guy only finally fights back after she's been stabbed. He tries to use his stethoscope to strangle Michael, and that obviously doesn't end well. And then, right after he's dead, suddenly his wife returns and starts shooting at Michael long distance. And she keeps missing him, and then she clearly finally has a shot. She gets too close, Michael kicks open the door, and it causes her to shoot herself. It looks silly. It is so stupid. And then Lindsay finally appears and hits Michael a couple times with the pillowcase full of block, and she does some good hits. Michael tries to choke her, and she messes with his mask. He throws her to the ground. While he's fixing his mask, she runs away. Now, there was a good chase sequence here, but it was very short. Then she hides behind some trees in the woods. Michael gives up pretty quick. It was tense here, and it looked great, but it was so short. Like, I wish this had gone on so much longer. This could have been a really great chase sequence, and I know some are going to say, the woods is Jason's thing, which is true, but it's a park. This could have worked. Anyway, after this is over, we cut back to Big John and Little John again, and they're just disrupting this plot so much. And Michael's come home. He comes in the back door. Like, at first they think they're being pranked again. They realize there's an intruder upstairs. Now, Little John grabs a big knife. Big John had a golf club. He puts it down and grabs a stupid pear knife. And then, they clearly know the intruder's upstairs. They split up. Big John goes upstairs by himself. And, Michael kills him, and it's brutal. He kind of ruptures both his eyeballs, and it is a cool death, but again, stupid. And then Little John, he goes upstairs, he sees his partner dead, and then he looks at Michael. Michael, you've come back. What are you, his dad or something? And Michael starts walking towards him from the window, and he starts screaming before Michael's even at him, and clearly he doesn't fight back. Michael kills him. I don't remember quite how. I'm guessing he was stabbed. Yeah, these two really hurt this pacing of this movie. And it gets worse. Laurie's woken up at the hospital, and Karen's lying to her, obviously. And blah, 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 blah. While that's going on, Cameron, Allison, and Lonnie show up at the park. They find Michael's handiwork. He's laid the 3 bodies out, displayed them. And they find Lindsay, and she's in really bad shape. It's like, did she have another encounter with Michael we didn't know about? Like, was something cut out of this movie? And I heard there was a lot cut out. She looked really messed up, and they take her to the hospital, and that's really the last time we see of her. And she doesn't even have a scene with Laurie. Tommy rushes into Laurie's room and, Laurie, you protected me 40 years ago when I was a kid. Tonight I'm going to protect you. No, hey, how's it going, Laurie? I haven't seen you in a while. There's none of that. Laurie finds out Michael's alive, and she's mad. She's trying to get up. Karen's like, no. Anyway, so Tommy's getting everybody riled up at the hospital, and the other escaped mental patient shows up there, and then they're suddenly like, is that Michael? And even Laurie sees him, and she's like, Michael! This guy looks nothing like Michael. He's not the right size, Nothing. Everybody is going apeshit. Sheriff Barker and the cops there are useless. Karen tries to save this guy. Like, she tries. Not the best way, but she tries. She locks him between two sets of fire doors, but everybody knows where he is. They're smashing through it. They're determined to get this guy in. These are strangers, okay? It's medical personnel, people that probably never even heard of Michael Myers. They want to kill this guy. They don't even know if it's him, and Laurie's telling them it's not him. Karen's telling them it's not him. And you have to remember, Michael's mugshot would have been on the news. They could easily find out who he is. This is not him. This is the other guy. The other guy realizes he's screwed. They're going to kill him. So he decides to end it his own way. He smashes the window and he commits suicide. Yeah. And Sheriff Brackett comes out, who's the security guard for the hospital. Now, he's like, Michael's turning us into monsters. I get what they're trying to say, but this whole subplot is stupid. It is so stupid. These characters are stupid. And this subplot disrupts any chance of character development. Halloween 4, it was entirely different. Michael wiped out the police force. Michael killed the lights. The people that were going after Michael, they were friends of Earl, who lost his kid to Michael 10 years earlier. So they're loyal to this guy. They're going to go after Michael. In this case, Michael killed 4 people on Halloween night 40 years ago, and 1 person 15 years before that. Like, most of these people are even going to know who Michael is, let alone be willing to just be like, screw it, let's try and kill this guy? They all act stupid. The setup is all wrong. If they had done this right, maybe it could have worked. But they didn't. It's stupid. Alright, before I forget, before the insane stuff happened in the hospital, I forgot about this, there was a couple nice little moments between Laurie and Hawkins. It was okay stuff, but then later, Laurie's talking about how Michael's coming for her. Hawkins finally tells her, no, he's not. And Allison never even brought this up earlier, so this is a real question mark. Laurie thinks that Michael's coming for her, but then Hawkins tells him, no, it was the frickin' doctor that brought Michael to your house. Michael doesn't care about you, and Laurie doesn't even really react to this. She doesn't even really acknowledge this. You get another flashback where Hawkins stops Dr. Loomis from shooting Michael. Apparently, Hawkins thought, Michael's somebody's kid, so he decided to do the right thing, but number one, Dr. Loomis already shot Michael 6 times. So, what's one more shot? I don't know, this scene, I know what they were trying to do, but again, it doesn't work, and there's another flashback scene that shows that another cop tells Hawkins, just say your partner shot himself in the struggle. So Hawkins is not even taking responsibility for shooting his partner. It's like, they try and do one thing and they do something else a minute later. Anyway, okay, moving on from the entire hospital stuff for now. Okay, now we're entering the finale. Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison show up at the Myers house. Because they realize that's where Michael's going, because they looked at a map and they looked where Michael left his handiwork, and it's a straight line to his childhood home. So they head there. But when they show up, or actually even on the way there, they never think to call for backup. It's like, call Tommy. Hey Tommy, we think he's going home. Meet us at the Myers house with a lynch mob. No, he goes there and then he's like, why would I bring my son to the belly of the beast? Which is a very good point. Anyway, he tells Allison and Cameron stay in the car. He goes in by himself. Yeah, okay, that is stupid. Anyway, they hear a gunshot. Allison and Cameron go rushing in. Okay, at first it's tense, but then this Western song from a record starts playing. Now, some have argued this. They think that Michael, he's doing a distraction, and also you see Little John and Big John displayed. I found it ruined the tension. Like, honestly, if they would have played Mr. Sandman, I would have at least had a good joy out of that. But anyway, I just found this song completely ruined the tension. They start searching, they open the closet, and there's a jack-o'-lantern in there, and Allison blows it away with a shotgun, yet somehow not damaging the wall. So, they head upstairs, they find the bodies, and Allison puts down her gun and starts examining the victims. Like she grabs a knife out of Little John. Why? Why would you put down your shotgun? Why would you even search these guys? And Cameron decides to leave her alone. He goes into the hallway and keeps looking. And he looks up because blood's dripping on his hand. We see Lonnie's been stuffed in the attic, and Cameron's like, "Dad!" And then all of a sudden Michael bursts out of a closet, and Cameron, instead of, like having that moment, he freezes up. By the time he's able to fire, Michael's already got him pinned and he's stabbing him. Allison hears what's going on. It takes her a couple seconds. She finally shows up. She tries to shoot him, but Michael manages to grab the shotgun just before she can fire. And then he grabs her, he messes her up, he knocks her down the stairs. She ends up breaking either her leg or her knee. And she screams. Like, Annie Matchek did a great scream there, and whoever did that stunt, fantastic work. Michael is messing up Cameron bad. And then he has Cameron pinned on the stairs, and Allison's trying to distract Michael. She's telling him, Allison's like, "Come get me, motherfucker." Anyway, he starts going down the stairs, but I guess Michael realized what she was doing. Cameron was still breathing somehow, and he breaks his neck. And Allison screams. Now, when Michael's going down the stairs here, there's a song. It's part of the score, and it seemed off. Like, it just didn't seem right. And I noticed I'm not the only one that's brought this up. Anyway, he goes downstairs. Allison tries to stab him. She's not able to, and then at first it seems like she's telling Michael to kill her, but then all of a sudden we see behind Michael, Karen has shown up and she stabs Michael with a pitchfork. And this was awesome. But instead of stabbing him with a pitchfork again, she kicks Michael in the head and then steals his mask. And then Michael follows her outside and she's telling him, "You want your mask? Come and get it. You want to kill somebody? Take me." And then Michael starts chasing her and Allison's screaming, "Mom!" And there was a cool shot here, like, because Michael's unmasked. But when he's walking between a couple of houses, it did look a little bit like Halloween 2. Anyway, Michael is on another street. He sees his mask in the middle of the road. He goes to stand in front of it, and all of a sudden lights are turning on from cars. And it's revealed there's a lynch mob, and Karen says the "gotcha" line again. And here, no, didn't work. It worked in 2018, but not again. Anyway, a lynch mob is gathering, and I did catch a Halloween 2 theme a little bit here. Anyway, Sheriff Brackett, okay, this was too much of fan service. He's like, "Hey, Michael, it's Halloween. Everybody's entitled to one good scare." I know what they're trying to do, but no, give him a freaking line. Say something like, "Michael, 40 years ago on Halloween night." Or no, "Michael, 40 years ago, you took my daughter from me. And tonight, we're going to send you straight to hell." Now that's a line. That would have been something good. But instead they went with fan service that just didn't feel right. Anyway, Michael puts on his mask, and then the battle starts. And Michael gets a couple good slashes in, but then one person who took a hit, she shoots him 5 times. Because she missed the first time. Michael's on the ground, they're beating the crap out of him, and then Tommy tells Karen, "Go, we got this. Go be with your daughter." Karen picks up his knife and stabs him in the shoulder, and then walks away. I wouldn't have done that. I would have made damn sure he's done. Anyway, while this is going on, Laurie's telling Hawkins about Michael, and how the more he kills, the stronger he gets. And she realizes that's something we didn't know in the past. And she says if they don't stop Michael tonight, she will stop him tomorrow or next Halloween. It's clearly hinting like no matter what, she's going to stop him no matter how long it takes. Anyway, Brackett's about to go in and do the final blow with the shot. You know, it looks like he's hesitating. And then Michael suddenly grabs the knife and slits Brackett's throat. And then he starts slaughtering everybody, and they're only going at him one at a time. And Tommy's just standing there. He's not doing anything. And by the time it's done, Tommy's the only one left. And instead of giving us like at least a decent one-on-one between Michael and Tommy, Tommy gets stabbed a couple times, and then it pretty much looks like Michael takes Tommy's bat and smashes him in the face. That's at least what I've been read from the script. So, Tommy's probably dead, Brackett's probably dead, he's beaten the mob. This wasn't handled right at all. Alright, back at the Myers house. Karen is on the front porch with Allison and some of the neighbors, plus there's ambulance personnel and cops there now. Though, why aren't some of them going where the mob is? Even though they're all dead anyway. Anyway, okay. Karen is suddenly looking on the front lawn. She looks in Michael's sister's window. Or she looks in Judith's bedroom window from outside. She sees young Michael. Now, there's a lot of debate about this. Did she really see him, or is it more of a metaphor? So, she goes inside the house. She decides to go upstairs, go into Judith's room, because she wants to look out that window and see what Michael sees. Now, I gotta point this out. The front door is full of people. The porch, there is a lot of people there, and the front door is wide open, and the stairwell is literally right next to that door. So, there's no way anybody is getting up those stairs. Not from the front door, and not from the back door, because somebody would see somebody coming. Anyway, we go upstairs. Karen is looking out the window. She shuts her eyes and reopens them. Michael has just appeared behind her. She turns around screaming. Michael's stabbing her multiple times. And then she drops to the ground. Is she dead? In the original cut of this movie, she is. This one, I noticed the way they cut it, it makes you wonder, like, maybe it's not certain. Because, like, this movie ends with Michael just looking out the window. And the original cut of this movie, Karen was supposed to be on the phone with Laurie, and then Michael would attack Karen, and then Michael would pick up the phone and breathe into it, like a classic throwback to 1978 with Michael and Laurie on the phone right after Michael killed Linda. And then Laurie realizes Karen's dead, and she tells Michael, "I'm coming for you." And she leaves the hospital holding the knife, and that would have been so much better. But apparently, because they're jumping ahead 4 years and Halloween ends, they feel this ending doesn't work, so they went with this shorter ending, which really doesn't make a difference. Unless they are going to do a fake out, and they're going to say this final scene didn't happen. Though I've already been hearing some crazy rumors about Halloween Ends, which I hope are not true. Alright, so that was the end of Halloween Ends. Look, guys, I can understand for some of you, seeing Michael kill lots of people is all you want, and getting a good score from John Carpenter, even though this one's not as good as 2018. The score is good, but I suspect John Carpenter didn't like this movie, so he did a good job, but not an outstanding job, because I don't think he wanted to. And I honestly can't blame him if that's the case. Alright. Again, my biggest gripes with this movie is, yes, Michael is brutal. He does kill a lot. But you have to remember, there's other things to Michael Myers besides the kills. In the original Halloween 2, there was a good body count, but Michael was still stalking his victims. There was suspense. There was tension. There was build-up. Here, tonally, this movie goes from something serious to something stupid, back to something maybe somewhat serious, and to something else stupid, or to something else stupid, and the plot is all over the place. Like, it sounds like the original cut of this movie was better. Though I heard the original cut had more humor, which is even worse, but some things might have still been better. Like, I know we're getting an extended cut on the Blu-ray, which might end up being better, which maybe will be the case, but all around, like I said, this movie's a mess, because, again, what interactions we get between Tommy and Laurie is very forced. Lindsay, Marion, and Brackett get nothing with Laurie at all. There's no scenes. Marion, why would she open that door? Like, she just took away her only protection between her and Michael. Like, the very least, they could have let her get a shot on him. Like, at least shoot him once. This movie's full of just plot convenience after plot convenience. There's no structure. This movie just doesn't know what it is. Like, I'm gonna be blunt. This movie is a soulless movie that doesn't know what it is. It's like, it wants to be a Halloween film, but it also is trying to be a Friday the 13th film, because Michael really is not stalking his victims here much. The best you get is Michael chasing Lindsay in the park, and that doesn't last very long. And yes, like, when Allison and Cameron are searching the Myers house, there was some tension, but it just doesn't last. Like, it could have been so much stronger. And again, there's disruptions in it, and then of course you get Michael chasing Karen, which was good, but again, it's a short thing. And again, I don't think that mob should have knocked Michael to the ground, because I think it should have been a more even match. And that mob, you're telling me you're gonna expect me to believe only 2 of them brought guns? Bullshit. And the other thing too, if they're getting slaughtered, do you think one of them would think to jump in the truck and run them over? All around, so many of the characters in this movie act like idiots. The Little John Big John subplot sucked. It's horrible humor that just hurts this movie. And the whole hospital drama subplot really sucks. It is so stupidly handled. It's trying to take the angry mob from Halloween 2 that was throwing rocks at the Myers house, and the lynch mob from Halloween 4, which was handled way better than this, and trying to combine them, and it just doesn't work. This movie is a mess. Like, this movie is just, it's so badly written, so badly paced, so badly structured. Like, even Allison and Karen were actually better in this movie, though actually I did like Allison in 2018. But again, their characters don't get to develop too much. Then of course Karen might be dead. And I gotta admit, Laurie isn't very good in this movie. The lines they give her just aren't good. All around, introducing these legacy characters, the setup was all wrong. They're wasted. Like, I'm sorry, most of the characters in this movie suck. They're brain dead, and I am tired of hearing, this is a slasher. It has bad characters and bad writing, yes. There are mediocre slashers, but there are also good slashers that have good characters, which is why they're good slashers. This is really badly written. This is a whole new level of bad writing. Look, again, if you guys like this movie, good for you. I'm glad you found some entertainment in this. But this movie is a mess. It's just like I said, the flashback, great fan service. They really did a great job with it, but it just seems pointless because we know Michael's not going to kill anybody. Therefore, a lot of the tension right there goes away. Just structurally, this movie just can't seem to keep a tone to it. It doesn't know if it wants to be something serious, or a slapstick comedy, or a Friday the 13th movie. It just doesn't know what it is. In the end, guys, I think Halloween Kills is a real mess, and it sucks. I'm giving Halloween Kills a 5 out of 10. Anyway, that's my spoiler review for Halloween Kills. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Maybe you like it better than me, and if that's the case, good for you. And I will talk to you guys later.